Okay, everybody's ready?
Yes.
All right.
Turn off the phones, please.
Yes.
Okay, welcome everybody to the City of Sweetwater Special Commission meeting. Meeting date Monday, July 25th, 2016 at 8 p.m. Commission Chambers, Southwest, 500 Southwest 109 Avenue. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Clerk will note the absence of Mayor Lopez and Commissioner Barrero.
Okay, please stand for the invocation, Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Dear Lord and good God, thank you, Lord, for your blessings, your protection, and your care to our families and our neighbors. We thank you for your guidance, and especially because we can always rest with confidence that you are there for us. We ask your protection for our armed forces that fights every day to continue keeping us safe and protecting our freedom and democracy. Thank you for our police force. Thank you for our country, Lord. Bless the United States of America. Bless each and every family of the city of Sweetwater. And we ask you to stay on this meeting now and guide us with wisdom and fortitude. In your holy name we pray.
Amen.
Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem.
Okay, item 4. Do we have any public comments? Anybody like to come forward and say anything? Okay, let the record reflect nobody's come up forward. Item 5. An ordinance of the Sweetwater Commission creating Article 4 of Article 58 of the Code of City of Sweetwater, Florida, entitled Streets, Sidewalks, and Certain Other Public Places, providing for procedures for reimbursement of roadway construction costs that benefit other property owners, and providing a severability clause and an effective date. I brought this. There's a second reading and public hearing. All that wish to come forward on this item, please do so now. This is a public hearing and it's open. Okay.
Good evening.
Hi.
As you're aware, Mayor Lopez is out of town this week. He did ask me to pass one question on. The reimbursement is that a developer applies for would be a reimbursement from the other property owners, not a reimbursement from the city, who would then have to go get the money from the property owners. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The administration expresses no opinion on this.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Ron. Okay, I have,
Second.
one more. Let the public meeting is not closed. Nobody else has stepped forward. Okay, now we have a motion by Commissioner Maronio, second by Commissioner Diaz. But there is some issues that's why it's taking so long to come back to second reading. And I had our attorney, Mr. Quadra, have some additions to, if you could please, because they weren't included in the package that we got. So there's some line items that.
Yes, the item that you have before you is an amended version from the item that you saw originally in first reading. This was advertised as required. This amended version was advertised as required. And as you requested, Mr. President, I have a quick rundown of the changes between first and second reading, and they are as follows. The definition of assessment reimbursement area was revised to ensure that the assessment reimbursement area encompasses those properties benefited by the road improvements constructed or to be constructed. The assessment reimbursement area may also be identified within an interlocal agreement between a special district or other local government entity and the city. The definition of developer was also changed, as well as the applicability of the ordinance as set forth. Those have been expanded and clarified to include special districts that have entered into an interlocal agreement with the city for the construction of public road improvements, not only other special district, but other local governmental entities. The definition of developer reimbursement agreement and the applicability of a developer reimbursement agreement have been clarified to recognize that an interlocal agreement between the city and a special district, for instance, could include the terms required of and be considered a developer reimbursement agreement for purposes of the ordinance. Essentially, the ordinance requires a reimbursement agreement, but if the city has entered into an interlocal agreement with a special district, that would also be considered the developer reimbursement agreement as defined in the ordinance. That's what that clarification provides. The definitions of direct construction costs and road improvements have also been clarified to include costs typically attributable to public roadway products. The term of a developer reimbursement agreement that is part of an interlocal agreement may be for a period of up to 30 years to coincide with typical local government bond financing terms. The standard developer reimbursement agreement that's provided in the ordinance not involving an interlocal agreement remains at 15 years. That remains unchanged. Unless otherwise stated in the applicable interlocal agreement for the construction of public road improvements, latecomers and administrative fees will not be charged to special districts or other local government entities. That, for the most part, summarizes the key changes between first and second reading, Mr. President.
Okay. Are you okay with the amendment?
Yeah.
So you move as amended?
Yeah.
Okay.
And second as amended as well. Just for clarification through the chair,
Yes, sir. Sir.
Guillermo, this is the ordinance that we spoke earlier that I was asking if everyone that is being affected by that improvement has a responsibility to pay the impact fees as well of the particular company or entity doing the improvement.
Any adjacent property owner any property owner that abuts the improved roadway, whenever they come to seek additional development to their property, at that point any impact fees that the city can at that point charge, those will be the funds that would be used to reimburse the property owner that initially built the roadway for the benefit of others.
All right,
Okay.
understood.
Now, the only point that I wanna say that if within that time frame, no development occurs, the city is not on the hook to reimburse that property owner. In other words, that property owner is taking a chance that there will be additional development on the properties abutting the roadway that is being improved, and that will be the means for reimbursement. So reimbursement only takes place if additional, or if there's any development or improvements to properties abutting the roadway being improved.
All right, thank you, Guillermo.
Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maronio,
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez,
Yes.
Commissioner Duason,
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes, as amended.
President Bergenian.
Yes. Thank you. I think that's gonna work out well to get some of these roads on the north side fixed up. That was gonna take us years to try to get to. Okay, we move on to item 6. An ordinance by the City Commission amending the City of Sweetwater Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 35, to adopt a new Chapter 35, to adopt flood hazard maps, to designate a floodplain administrator, to adopt procedures and criteria for development of flood hazard areas, and for other purposes, providing for applicability, repealer, severability, and an effective date. This is the first reading, and I guess public?
I don't think this is a public hearing.
Okay,
Through the chair,
yes, sir.
I have questions.
I guess, Rob.
Eric, could you please come close?
Long time no see, Eric.
Hi, Eric, how are
Been a
you?
while. How you doing?
Yeah, in the memo that you issue, describing and with your recommendation on the description of item,
Mm-hmm.
it says that the community rating system,
Mm-hmm.
a voluntary program, because to me this is key to approve or not approve, is the
Yes.
reduction in the premiums.
Yes.
Community rating system, a voluntary program, recognizes these efforts by reducing the cost of flood insurance premium by 5 to 45% for flood insurance policies in communities that participate in the community rating system. With this, we are participating in the community
This is-
rating system,
Correct.
correct?
This is one of the steps in the effort of participating.
That's going to be my question right there,
Absolutely.
one of the steps.
Yep.
The following sentence, one of the 7 performance
Mhm.
measures required to ensure consistency with enhanced performance measure to participate in the CRS program is to adopt a flood damage prevention ordinance based on the state model and the Florida Building Code. This is one of the 7. Are we complying with the other 6 to get the discount, or we're still not
No,
there
we're
yet?
pretty much right with this one. I would say probably in the next couple of months, we should be ready with everything else. I mean, it's just it's really minor stuff and showing them the paperwork. For example, one would be to make sure that on a monthly basis or on a bi-monthly basis, we, have like a kiosk, for example, of showing residents that we, what do we do to alleviate, flood, damage due to flooding, or just notifying them, hey, what should we do to not put garbage and tree trimmings in our drainage system and so forth. I mean, that's just one example of what
Yeah.
what we need to do to comply with the CRS program.
With the other 6 requirements?
Correct.
So this is the first one we are complying with.
Yeah, matter of fact, no, we got out of the 7. I think we have 5 out of the 7. So I don't remember them off the top of my head, but it's really, this was one of the hardest ones to
Yeah.
get. So we're pretty much right there to get the reduction of
And we
the
are
first
work-
5%.
And we are working on the remaining 1 or 2.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Sir, that's requested.
Mr. Suarez, you done?
I'm done.
Okay. You want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, another one of these elements is adoption of Miami-Dade County's mitigation strategy from 2015. And just for information, that will be presented before the commission next Monday. So that's another step that is being taken care of.
Thank you, Eric.
No problem.
Okay, so at this point, we have a motion. Moved by Commissioner Maroney, second by Commissioner Yanyo. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Duaso?
Yes.
Commissioner Yanio?
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Yes.
President Berganian?
Yes.
Hey, me?
Commissioner Maronio?
Yes.
And then a yes by me.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Go to item 7, a resolution of mayor and the city commission of the city of Sweetwater, Florida, authorizing and ratifying an increase to the stormwater utility rate and providing for an effective date. Mayor Lopez. I guess you're handling that?
Yeah, that's why I'm standing here.
Okay. The only questions I have,
Yep.
I'm not opposed to doing this for various reasons. The only thing I'm looking at is there's no. How much do we generate now in these fees, and what are we spending it on?
Well, I don't know if the finance department's here, because that's probably more a question that should be answered by the finance department, but I think I asked that question about a month ago, and I think on a monthly basis, we are collecting approximately like I'd say mid $50,000 per month on the stormwater utility fee. But the stormwater utility fee is mainly for maintaining what, our stormwater, infrastructure, for example, the pump stations, cleaning out the catch basins and so forth. I mean, that's where most of the money, I'm assuming, should or is going. But that, like I said, it's more of a question of
Well,
talking
the reason why I'm asking is because I want to know how much we're going to generate and where we're going to spend that money, because we have made some cuts with some of the the workers and all that kind of stuff, and that might be money that helps out in total. So I'd like to have the numbers.
Well, absolutely, and I agree with you. I mean,
And
go ahead, Ralph.
If I may, I think that I'm not completely sure about this, but I think that those funds have to remain within the stormwater system, whatever that might be. Now, there might be ways of bringing back individuals who may be tasked specifically with stormwater issues. That might be possible to do, but I don't think you can take that money and use it for parks, for example.
No, but one of the things that's been happening, and that's part of the problem with the employees, like you're saying that you want to bring people back, is that sometimes we could say this person works half a day doing stormwater and the other half a day, and they get paid by that. So
That might be possible to do. I didn't anticipate this question would be asked tonight, so I didn't come prepared to address that issue, but that might be something that's possible to do.
would it change anything? One more quick question.
Sure.
Would it change anything if we can wait till next Monday's meeting and put this in and have the numbers?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
No, not at all.
I'm not trying to stop
No,
anybody.
no, I understand.
I think I'm not against this, but
No.
I'd like to have the numbers.
You have a legitimate question. If there's no pressing need to do this tonight, is there?
No.
No.
I mean, I'm assuming the city would like to have the money sooner than later in the sense.
Well, it
to
doesn't
help
start
out
till October
the-
1st?
Excuse me?
It starts immediately or October 1st?
This would start immediately. This has nothing to do with fiscal year or fiscal. This is, as soon as this is implemented, this could be implemented immediately.
But waiting 4 or 5 days or a week isn't a major deal. I mean, if
Okay,
you'd like to wait a week, we can do
Yeah,
it.
I had a question, because I was looking at it, I'm probably, it's not for you, have to be for finance. Because I thought that there are some employees, like he was stating, like, one of them is not there anymore, other ones that used to be full-time, they're part-time now, and they all like, part of the salary is like 25-50%, but I think there's one employee that gets a full salary from the storm and water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. I mean, I know
Yeah,
there's,
there is.
I mean, we have the vac truck, I know has to be, at least driven, and then there's somebody else with that person, so it's a two-man job, so, and the city should be rotating and continuously cleaning out catch basins. I mean, I know there's over like 400 and something catch basins
Right.
in the city, so
That's
it's
would
something
be-
that we have to continue
It
to
would be
do.
good
and
if you provide us with information, would be
So
great.
if we can defer it till Monday, no problem with you? I mean,
I don't have an issue deferring it a week.
To the chair.
sir?
Real quick, as Ralph and Eric were commenting on, historically there are few, not to say several, but few employees that they have a portion of the salary from the general fund
Right.
and another portion from the stormwater.
Right.
So we will have to evaluate that and see what portion of the operations these employees are, dedicated to stormwater and which ones to the city of Sweetwater, and to what extent we are not breaking any labor rule to this.
Well, it's a rainy season, we're
Yeah.
going around fixing stuff now.
No,
Now's the time to-
Commissioner Diaz is completely right on that. Absolutely.
Through the chair,
Sir?
I want to ask this question so I don't have to remember it until next meeting. The raise from $4 to $5 is for the residential area. What about for the business?
No, it's completely, this is for everybody. This is commercial and residential.
But the residential area and the business area are rated differently.
Absolutely. A
The business
residential,
area is by square footage.
correct. And a
Ah.
residential house is
It's
Is-
by $4 per
Right,
individual.
per month. on a-
Household.
Exactly.
Household.
That's what it is right now.
So I see per individual household from 4 to 5, but I don't see anything in the entire.
Well, because it's a matter of, it's all prorated on a square footage basis at the end of the day. I mean, what happened was, when this is calculated, it's based on a typical house, let's say has a square footage of 1,500 square feet
Yeah.
of, let's say, living space. So then that gets, when you go to commercial properties, that gets like prorated or calculated on basically that impervious area is what they use for commercial properties. And then the commercial properties, obviously, the larger they are, the more they pay on the stormwater utility fee.
'Cause
Okay,
this is pretty good revenue building, because what happens is when you look at some of the hotels that are gonna be finished this year, and some other ones that are coming, and for example, look at IKEA, look at the square footage on that.
Yeah.
So this is something that's minor to them adds up to a lot to the city.
No, absolutely. I mean, when IKEA came around, we were already implementing, because that was some issues that we were having also, is that some monies were not being collected at the time, and we started doing some research a while ago. And like, for example, when IKEA came in, I already knew that, hey, we can't miss out on these fees and make sure that they get it from the get-go. And I think IKEA, just to give you an example, I think it's over $1,000 something a month or more that they have to pay in just stormwater utility fees alone.
Right.
Through the chair.
Through the
Just a
chair,
final question.
I haven't finished,
Go ahead.
I gave my position to the chair because he is the chair.
Oh, no,
But I haven't finished
You
yet.
never did that to me, sir, but go ahead.
I'm going to show you this since I did my homework at home today.
Yes, yes,
Of the cities that were surveyed,
Yep.
that are over 100 in the
Yes.
state of Florida,
yes.
on the rate of $4 currently in Sweetwater that is requested to go to 5.
Mhm.
79 cities are higher than Sweetwater
Yes.
and 42 are lower. I
Yeah.
highlighted them and spent some highlighted ink
Right.
of my
Commissioner,
own.
I would have been shocked if you had not done your homework.
Of the businesses by square footage
Mhm.
and in the state of Florida, 40 are higher than Sweetwater today and 64 are lower. Just for
No, and I appreciate the statistic. I mean, and that's why I also, just when I did this, one thing I did was I took the general average of what, you know, that guidebook said for the entire state, and then I also, if you saw the comparisons, I at least tried to do the cities that were comparable within Miami-Dade County so that we can all at least get, you know.
And I hope that some of this money extra that we probably get, they put a roof over the 12 generators that are rusting out, corroding badly.
One thing I just wanted to add, because you guys were talking about the budget and so forth and paying people half. I'm a private, I guess, employee or, you know, but one of my job descriptions is a certified the floodplain manager for the city. So I don't know how you guys pay me, if it's through general funds or whatever, but a portion of the money, since I am the floodplain manager for the city, the monies that come from this can be used to pay me. So I'm just saying,
It's free of general funds at that
yeah,
point.
so I'm just
Yeah.
giving you some,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
so.
Chair, I'm finished.
Yes, do you have an idea, Ralph, how much this extra dollar is gonna impact the 50,000?
That's the
That
question
you
for
said
Mike.
more or
Well,
less.
I also asked that question to the finance department, but if, you know, with the only quick calculation that we tried to do is if we're at $4 now and we go to 5, you're increasing it at least by, you know, 25%. So if you
Mhm.
take 50,000.
75.
Yeah, exactly.
more
So
or
you
less.
increase that. I mean, that's just ballpark, but I'm not in the finance department, so.
That sounds about right, though. That sounds like a good.
12,000 more.
Okay, so we just make a motion, I'll make a motion to defer to Monday's meeting, where we should have the numbers and we'll be okay with this.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And we come to item 8, a resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of Sweetwater approving a tentative plat to applicant Dolphin Park of Commerce 3 LLC, authorizing the mayor, city clerk, and city attorney to take all actions necessary for implementation and providing for an effective date. Mayor Lopez.
Mr. President,
Sir.
basically a correction on that item. It will be replacing the word tentative throughout that resolution with the term final,
Approving a final?
with the term final rather than tentative.
Yes,
Correct.
so it'll be approving.
A final
final.
plat.
So, question to the chair.
Sir.
So the final plat will be, is hyphenated, -1 or -2? In some part of the package, it says -1, and in another part of the package, it says -2.
I'm only referring to the language
word-
in the resolution, that removing the term tentative to, and replacing it with the word final. Only on the resolution itself. I would,
That is in the package inside, not in the cover.
I would basically defer to administration to answer any questions on the supporting documentation.
To the chair.
Sir?
This is the area of the circle on the diamond shape road,
No, this is on 17th Street, Northwest 17th Street.
Northwest 17.
Street, yeah, right next to, next to the maintenance
The road
department. Yeah.
improvement for the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
I believe Commissioner Suarez had some questions regarding some of the backup documentation.
Yes.
The plat number, in some part of the package, it says -1, in another it says -2. Is it T-23596, either 1 or 2? -1 or -2?
I don't have that backup on me, and I would have to defer or just make sure that whatever was reported to the county, that's the what we have to use, because the county basically is the one that gets these documents recorded into their system, so I don't want to say it's 1 or 2 when I don't have the documentation in front of me.
Hey, Commissioner Suarez, it is my understanding that the backup information that you have in your package is identical to what the county received as well. That's my understanding.
Another question, Eric, how many acres are involved?
5 acres, right? 5 acres.
Well, in one part of the package says 5.28, in another part says 5.02, and I did a calculation suggested in one of the memos, and I
Okay.
come up with 2.06 acres. 5 point,
Right.
that's the final one? Okay. So that's a third number then. Okay, 5.03. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I make a motion.
Move.
And a
Second.
Second by Commissioner Suarez and Maronio. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, ratification of department heads.
Well, as I mentioned last time, the only one pending is the building official, and we're waiting on the package to submit to the commission for review.
Okay, but I just want to be clear, I'm not trying to start any fights. This is, as far as a department head, because you said there was 2 separate things. There's a department head and there's a building official.
Well, what we're attempting to do now is to outsource all or a portion of the department, and that may include outsourcing the department head as well. Now, by our charter, the building official and the building director are the same person. We have temporarily separated the two because we're sort of in a state of flux at this point. We have an interim director who's Manny, and then we have I forgot the gentleman's name, who's acting as a part-time building official. This will all come to a head within the next couple of weeks when we get finally all the bids that come back, and we can present them to the commission. And then at that point, the commission can make a determination as to whether it's financially viable to outsource all of the department, a portion of the department, or none of the department. And if there's no outsourcing at that point, and it's the commission's decision to remain all in-house, then at that point, the mayor will produce somebody for you to consider at that point. And also a consideration possibly of dividing the role of the building official and the building and director. 'Cause it seems that that's probably, looking at everything that's happened in the last year with the IRS and so forth, that's probably the better way to go. But I can do an explanation of that at some other point in the future.
Okay. Do we have, so this person, like you told me last time, this other person who's a building official is not an employee of the city?
He is an employee of the city on a part-time basis, but he's been brought in only temporarily for this. You're required to, under the Dade County interpretation of the law, which is not necessarily, it's not actually even in the law, in the state statute, but under their interpretation of the state statute, the building official must be an employee. So the person that's been placed in this position has been placed temporarily in that position, just essentially to review the plans and act as building official and essentially give a stamp of approval to the plans. But like I said, it's a part-time temporary position. The building director's position is filled on a temporary basis by Manny Salazar, who is a longtime employee of the city. At some point, and I've had this discussion with the mayor, I believe it would be a wise idea, given the circumstance that occurred with the IRS to split the two and to enable, not require, but to enable the building official and the building director to be two different people if necessary, or if feasible, or if it's preferable at some point. But for right now, it's a preference of the administration to wait for the ITBs to come back. The deadline has not expired yet. We're still within the cone of silence, essentially. Wait for it to come back, and then present the commission with the option of either outsourcing the entire department. By the entire department, like engineering is outsourced. Eric has his own employees. He has his own computer systems. It's essentially a separate entity that is wholly outsourced. Outsourcing the building department is something that several different cities do as well. I believe Doral does it wholesale, the whole thing. I think Miami Lakes as well, but I'm not quite sure about that one, but it might be the other way around. But either way, this is something that's done routinely. Also, what's a possibility is to outsource a portion of the department. So, for example, the clerical staff would remain on our payroll, and possibly the director, but all the inspectors might be outsourced to a separate company, and that will provide the depth to enable inspections at 11 o'clock at night if that's what the developer
Right.
wishes.
My first question is, you were talking about that somebody interprets that the building official can't be the director can't be
No. Our charter,
right.
excuse me, our code
Uh-huh.
requires that the building official and the building director be the same person.
Right.
Okay? In looking at what happened with the IRS and looking at the hoops we've had to jump through in the last month, I believe that's not necessarily a wise arrangement. It may be a wise arrangement, sometimes it may not. And it would be to the city's better interest to take the word shall and change it to the word may. Now, that's my opinion, and I believe that's
Right.
the mayor's opinion as well. But I believe that it would enable a certain level of flexibility that actually doesn't exist in our code right now. Now, in the state statute doesn't mention the requirement of an employee, but we've met with Miami-Dade County's officials, highest officials at this level, and it is their interpretation that the building official must be an employee of the city, which is how we got into the whole IRS issue last November and December in the first place.
Right, but I remember the IRS had one of two things. Because when we kept asking them, and we asked everybody that was working with them what their opinion was, they wouldn't give us an opinion. The only
Right.
thing they said
They will
was,
never do that.
you can't either have, the guy cannot get either a W-2 and a 1099, but you can
Exactly.
have either one. So I think,
it-
especially if our charter says we can do it.
In this case, they actually didn't say that. What they said in this case was that and I gave an explanation, I believe last February or March. What they said was that the building official, as currently construed in this city, the building official and the city attorney, and that does not include Mr. Guadra, and I've mentioned this, it's different because they were actually talking about me at the time. But that those officials needed to be employees of the city, not independent contractors. They did not mention that about Eric. And the distinction here, and the distinction where Mr. Guadra falls in as well, is that they have their own separate structures, essentially, their own. Mr. Guadra has an office. Eric has employees and staff and so forth, and that gives it that enables it to be an independent contractor. Now that applies to the building director, but not the building official. And that's a question of federal law. As regards state law interpreted in this county by Miami-Dade County, the building official must be an employee, which is how we got into the whole mixed W-2 1099 issue, because our building director / building official wanted to remain as a 1099. The arrangement was agreed to under a previous administration, not Mayor Diaz's administration, or Mayor Maronio's administration, which gave him a nominal salary as an employee and also gave him a larger retainer as an independent contractor. The IRS said that's not permissible.
Are
So
you
that-
saying that Dade County says now there must be an employee?
The building official, not the building director. Even if we outsourced the whole thing,
Mhm.
lock, stock, and barrel, the whole thing, the building official would still need somehow to be an employee of the city, a W-2 employee. So let's say the clerks, the inspectors, everybody is outsourced to ABC Corporation as Eric's company has the engineering department outsourced. All of them could be outsourced except the building official. The building official would need, by Miami-Dade County interpretation of state law, to be an employee. I disagree with that. I've read the statute. I don't think it's in there, but that's their interpretation. That's what we have to live with. That's why I'm saying it might be to everybody's interest, to the city's interest, to separate the two at some point within the next couple of months. We will present, a proposal to the city commission for that, along with the invitation, or along with the bids that have been submitted, so the city commission can make a determination at that point.
And who's doing the day-to-day? Roofing, zoning?
Well, we have different inspectors, and we've always had different inspectors. I'm afraid I don't know the names of all of them. I really don't know that department very well in the sense of actually knowing the people. I interact with Manny Salazar, and Manny Salazar says, yes, we have a roofing inspector, we have a building inspector, we have a mechanical inspector, we have an electrical inspector, we have a zoning person now. So we have all these individuals in place. Now,
But the only one that we've hired new is,
Guerrero is
Oscar
his
Guerrero.
last name.
Yes,
Oscar Guerrero.
Oscar
he's the
Guerrero.
only employee, he's a city employee now, and
Yes.
he's the only one we've hired.
exactly, but he is
The director.
no.
I'm sorry to the chair.
No, he's the building official.
Okay.
There's an interim director who is Manny Salazar, who's a long-term employee. He's been here for many years. Now, Mr. Guerrero is a part-time employee. He's here as often as necessary to come in and inspect the plans and do the things that the building official needs to do, which is highly technical in the sense that you review the plans for sufficiency, and then you sign off on the permits and you sign off on the plans. He's here as is required for that. But other than that, the day-to-day, to answer your question, that running of the department's being done by Manny Salazar. I interact 2 or 3 times a week with Manny Salazar. He calls me, he emails me, we meet sometimes in my office, and he keeps me abreast of the goings-on of that department. He is aware that this may be a temporary position for him. If it's the desire of the city commission at some point to keep everything in-house, his name may at some point be submitted as a building director if we're able to divide the two. He's not qualified to be a building official. He doesn't hold that license. But I believe, as I said before, I think it's probably the better thing to separate the two. There's no need to take a position that may require 10 hours worth of work a week, the building official, and make that and lock ourselves into that person in order to run the department. The task of running the department and the task of being a building official requires 2 different sets of skills, and there's no sense to merge the 2 of them. And to essentially, lock yourself into one person. If we had the 2 separated, then you could, if a building official left, you could just replace him with another building official. You can have multiple building officials at that point. You could have, one building official be primary, and the other one be secondary, so that when they go on vacation, the secondary one can fill in for that position.
And if the commission goes along with having a company come in and get the bid for the whole thing, do the other employees then lose their jobs?
The
Most likely.
that depends on. As part of the bid, there was a statement in there that it was the administration's preference that the employees would keep their jobs. Now, we have not received the bids back, and as a consequence, we haven't opened them to see what proposals they've included in there. Their proposal may be to hire everybody back. Their proposal may be to hire everybody subject to certain criteria and certain qualifications. Only people who meet these qualifications would be hired into that company. I don't know at this point. But to answer your overall general question, the decision as to who to recommend will be the administration's decision. The decision as to who to accept is the commission's decision. It's not the mayor's decision.
Right.
So the commission can accept one or accept none of them, however you want to do. And this is really being done in order to see if there's a way to economize that's less expensive than the system we're running currently, and that provides better service to developers, especially in the north end, when you need people at hours that are not available at this point if you have your own set of employees.
Well, the whole idea is that we're not here to create jobs for employees.
Right.
We've backed up our employees, I think, properly, as far as much as we can, with everything going on. But they maybe should have put in the bid, part of the bid being that you will keep the employees that we have. You know, that's very important because we, as a commission, we have two things going on here. Got a bunch of people calling us and telling us, raise the taxes, because everybody's telling us to raise our taxes so that we can keep our jobs. I still haven't heard the first person come up and tell me that, except some of the employees. But at the same time, we do want to take care of our employees, and we don't want to get rid of people that have been serving the community for a long time.
Right.
And some of these people don't get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
There
I think
was-
it's important that we
yeah.
take care of that.
There is a provision in the invitation to bid regarding retention of prior employees. Now, this bid was written somewhat more creatively than if you have a bid to lay a road, then there's only so many ways that you can do that. But this bid is to take over all or a portion of the department, so that enables more creativity in the way that the bidder constructs his bid.
Right.
Either way, it'll be submitted to the city commission. The
The-
city commission can make a decision at that point.
Right. And again, I'm not trying to start anything, but I haven't even asked a question about Mr. Lanza, but from the beginning when he came here, there was a name mention of a Carlos something, I don't know, this corporation that the mayor admitted to, he talked to in Tallahassee, or talked to somebody that he was trying to bring him in to replace Lanza. And I just hope that it's not just this company is the one that
No, there
is
have been
going to be catered to their specific needs, because you know how you can write up
there
a bid.
Yeah, there have been several bids that have. There have been several companies that have been notified, and that I understand are in the process of bidding. If you would like a more detailed explanation of what happened with Mr. Lanza,
Okay.
I'm happy to give it to you. I documented the whole thing,
Okay.
and it involves actions that I don't think anybody would have tolerated for the suspension, and it involves actions that I don't think anybody would have tolerated for the dismissal. And the actions that led to the dismissal came to light because of the suspension. And if you're happy,
No,
if you
it's
want to come
okay.
in, I'm happy to meet with you.
Okay.
He was given a predetermination hearing. The hearing was in front. I held it. The mayor recused himself. He wanted nothing to do with it since his house is still under some sort of review or whatever. I held the predetermination meeting, and I had it in front of Joanna and in front of Lorena, two witnesses from HR, both of whom took independent sets of notes. I was very careful to dot my I's and cross my T's. The only thing I did not do on this is get a court reporter, because frankly, it's not worth the cost at this stage.
Okay.
Okay?
Last to the chair.
Sir.
Rob.
Yes, sir.
How much are we paying the person in charge right now?
I can get you an answer. Oh, the person in charge of the department? He's not received
No,
a
the building
salary.
official.
The building official.
The building official, I can get you an answer tomorrow. I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll try to reach out for you tomorrow.
Please. And again, just very quickly, my offer still stands to meet with each and every one of you regarding the budget. I know it's set for next Monday, and I'm happy to do so. This week is extremely light for me because the mayor's out of town. So if there are no appointments set this week with any of you, but if you wish to come in and meet with me, just call Indira, and I'm happy to set something up. Okay?
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Any commissioners got anything?
Mr. President,
Sir.
just for clarification purposes, the motion on item number 8 was as amended, and so was the second. I know that was approved, and just for clarification purposes, amended.
Yes, sir. 8 was to put final instead of tentative on all the items. And then the other one that was mine, the second reading and public hearing,
Yeah, that was
that was all the items that you read and everybody agreed to. Okay. Have a motion for adjournment? Moved by the entire commission, second by the entire commission here. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Suarez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
we're over